Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder, Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. Still don't know why I can't get that to work, but it doesn't really matter. We're here on Sunday to do our market overview and prepare ourselves for the shortened trading week. Yeah, there's no trading on Friday. So for Christmas Eve, since Christmas Day is Saturday, so it's sort of being celebrated on the Friday from the exchange holidays, and trading will be back to normal on the Monday, the 27th. So we have 4 days to prepare for. Hope everyone is doing fantastic. By the way, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like button. With that being said, let's see, we have some interesting things setting up in the market. I'm going to actually swing over here to this one. Here's our S&P E-mini. Just looking at the macro sort of run up. Now, by the way, this is not a double top. It doesn't reverse enough of a move, but I will be watching for the breakdown. So let's see. We have Ken here. Thanks for streaming today. Lots of YouTubers are doom and gloom. How am I feeling? I'm feeling tired. I am tired. I'm glad it's a short trading week. There's some doom and gloom out there, but not much. I mean, this is tricky this year. This end of year is tricky. With this Friday price action, again, we have quad witching. So we shall see. Let's see. Christoph is here. Good afternoon. Until which day should we have good liquidity, and when will liquidity start to be normal again? All week's going to be a little thinner, but the closer you get to Christmas, it's really going to start drying up, especially since senior traders and will start not being in the office. You'll just have junior traders around managing stuff. You know, some automated trading things get reduced in size, and then it pretty much, and you get window dressing end of the year, but it can stay, lower between all the way from Christmas to New Year's. I don't really watch what day is New Year's actually. What day is it? I forget. Christmas is on Saturday. Well, somebody just let me know what day New Year's Day is, because I forget right now. But that Monday, even the Monday after New Year's, since I know it's that next weekend, there's probably be the Tuesday before we start really getting back to full force with the liquidity. So it means you can get more market swings. You can get some more exaggerated moves. So I am just a little more cautious. I don't ramp up risk around when it's thinner markets in the holidays. You can still take good signals, but don't ramp up risk. Thank you. It's the 1st of January, so that's what I thought it was. So Sunday is the 2nd, Monday being the 3rd, and still people are starting to come back on the 3rd, but it really goes full 4th. 4th will be the full, when we'll be fully back to normal. Unless, we have some weird stuff going on with the new variant, who knows. We just got to trade what is. We got to trade. So I was started off saying we had prior support here, resistance, support, but this, we're closing back below the 50% run up from the lows on the 3rd to the highs on the 16th. Let's see. And then, so we're sort of caught in this congestion no man's land, and it is holding this 4,600 on a closing basis support. If we get a close back below 4,600, it would not be good in my mind. And then 4,586 is very key for me. 62.5% retracement from the run up. So that is key, because if we get down there, then I'm watching us return to this lower area. Possibly break the trend line, which isn't going to give us a trade if it breaks below that trend line, but I will watch for potential support around there. So it's not looking so good, especially with that price action on Friday, but again, it was quad witching. You get an early indication. My bullish line in the sand is around 46.65. above the 4-hour rotation zone. And when I put up these bullish levels, it does not mean you can't take a bullish trade. Like if we get a strong momentum trade or a double bottom trade or something, I'll take it. But I need things to really get above, especially on a closing basis, this bullish line in the sand, because otherwise it's just not strong. Here above this 40, right above about 46.67 area, we go into what we call an advanced clear path on the 1 hour. You can see there aren't a lot of stopping points. All right. On the 4 hour, it's just a standard clear path, and there again aren't a lot of stopping points. So above that area, I'll start watching for a potential more significant run back to retest that 4,700 area, and then maybe upwards around this 47.22. But that's going to be the first area that I'll start to get more bullish on the daily. It's got to prove itself above this 46.65 area into this clear path. We break down, see how 4,600, we had the close back on the 14th there, and a little reversal held right there. Held 2 days or 2 4-hour periods above there, but this one dipping below. So that's a really key line in the sand. Coming into tomorrow, we closed at what, 46.19? We closed at 46.10. 46.10, so we're not far off that 4,600. So you start getting some momentum below there, and that's when I'll sort of get more doom and gloom. Right now, RSI in the middle. I mean, and when I say doom and gloom, the only way I get serious doom and gloom is if we close below the swing low from the 3rd of December. Why? Because then that goes into this clear path move with, and we could easily see returns back down to about 4,400 area. What else do we have? NASDAQ. Whew. It's actually NAS crap at this point. Thursday, wiping back down below that 62.5 level, and then Friday coming all the way down, bouncing off the 87.5% harmonic, closing back above the 75. But this needs some serious work to do before I get into bullish mode. Let's see. Where's my bullish mode line? It's right. Oh, I hate when I move things. I hate when I mess things up like that. There we go. Re-anchor it. All right. So, bullish mode. Let me see if we have anything good here. I'm still going above the support shelf about 16,015. So it regains that 16,000 area. That's going to be a nice little area to start watching above the 4-hour rotation zone. You can still use these harmonics for trading intraday. So, 75%, which we've bounced off and held, holding into the close on Friday, 15,767. Then below that, I'd be up as 15,652 area. And that's what held. Then below that, I'm watching for a return to these 15,000. What's the low? 15,538 lows. If we start on a rally mode, my key is this 16,000. Then above there, we have 16,112. Then above there, 16,227. We have a clear path move up there on the 4-hour, and you can also see a standard clear path move on the 1 hour. Especially above the 16,000. Really nice. There's not stopping point. So if we start getting above that bullish line in the sand with some momentum, then I'm going to watch for a potentially pretty quick run up also. You really don't want to see, this is already technically in bearish mode, but we don't want to see a break below 15,538. And also, this still being end of the year, you can get window dressing in thinner markets. If we start to get that some aggressive trading on the upside above that 16,015, watch, it could shift back to bullish mode very, very quickly. The Dow triggered this double top pattern. So gonna watch for that. That gives us clear, easy moves down below. See, it's reversing this move up. So we have 34,896, 34,707, 34,518 coming in with the 200 simple. So really pay attention if this runs to the downside. Those are the key levels on the Dow to the downside. To the upside, really need to get above about 35,621. Then I'll start getting interested intraday, maybe just a little higher than that, about 35,630, right around there. Then I will get very interested for a potential upside run or return to 35,885, 36,000 area, then 36,100, then 36,201. So those are the key levels to the upside and the downside. The Dow's making it pretty easy on us because with any additional downside pressure, I'm then watching for these lower price actions and these doubles to unfold. What does Ken? I know you're gonna review the market, but I wanted you to look at I actually was thinking about looking at TDoc on the daily. Anyways, so let's look at that. Yeah, that's again triggering an aggressive buy, and this again we've been talking about possibly rolling it into a double bottom pattern. So this would be again the front run signal as of the close on Friday. But you can always get in it on a little pullback on Monday, and then you're going to target the other side of the rotation zone first. And then if you get a close above 102.71, that triggers this double 109.94, 115.56, and 117.17. So there could be a really nice play to the upside in TDoc. And it's coming off, you can see the divergences here. So third push lower and triple divergence with that rising RSI. So there's a really interesting play there. And that would just take it back into the weekly rotation zone. So that's a good one to watch for. Speaking of double bottoms, here's another one. These are potential lockdown plays again also. You know, if we have the Omicron variant, if that, I know the hospitalizations don't seem to be as bad, but if it keeps spreading and just, you know, we start going into more lockdowns. Here's another one, Zoom. Zoom triggered this double bottom. So we have a divergence play and a double bottom play and a percent B play, and the double bottom has been triggered. So 210.13, 215.94, 221.75. Really nice potential play in Zoom. Christoph, sorry. You asked why not draw targets starting from the lower low to the right. I am going with the conservative targets right here since it lines up with this candle body to the top because of this big rotation. If I went over here, see how this, I don't want it to extend into the wick. And we're going against the daily rotation zone and the weekly rotation zone. So I want to use the conservative targets, which would be the closer targets here, not the more aggressive. I think that should answer your question. And for Zoom, I'm also going with the conservative since it is technically against the daily rotation zone. It's against the weekly rotation zone. And look where these targets line up on the weekly, right to return you to the weekly rotation zone. So there could be some couple interesting plays. I think in one of the portfolios we do, this is going out as a potential play tomorrow. Let's see. So Apple did trigger this very large double top pattern. So I am keeping an eye on that to the downside. But again, it's slightly lower probability since it's against the daily and weekly rotation zone. Now this could easily take it back to the weekly rotation zone. The only hitch is the first target, and I would not ignore this 167.75 level, is the bottom of the daily rotation zone. So it's definitely stop reduction. I'd also advise people, a couple people reached out to me and said, oh, this triggered, they're backing up the truck on the shorts or the puts. don't be backing up the truck in this end of year scenario. Okay, you can still get window dressing, you can still get thin markets. Do not amp up risk at the end of the year. If anything, you want to reduce risk at the end of the year. Also, this first target, look where it lines up with. I have an alert set there. This prior little resistance becoming potential support. Okay, so that's a really nice potential play, but that needs to be managed closely, and do not ignore, if you're getting short, do not ignore lowering stops at this 167.75 area. So anything else anybody wants to look at right now? Just seeing to the upside what we have here. I'm going to switch this one to a reverse harmonic once we have a potential swing low in. Yeah, Apple puts good advice not to go super heavy. You don't risk it. It's a valid trade. It's a completely valid trade. I'm just saying, because you have thinner markets, things can get whipped around. All right, and you can get these volatility moves up and down. So that's why, I mean, Apple could theoretically be back over 180 in a day and completely obliterate this move. You got to trade with the probabilities, and the probabilities still are decent for this, but they are slightly lower because it's against the rotation zone. The rotation zone wasn't out of the way before it triggered. Let's see. We have I thought I did Boeing the other day. Boeing, you have a potential double bottom play, at least to the first two targets here, but we're a long way off. We're a long way off from that. You could have an aggressive pre-entry on a close above the 16th of December's high. And you have a gap fill up here, but I would really manage this as it ran to the other side of the rotation zone if that triggered. So that's what we talked. When did we touch on Boeing? It was maybe Friday or something, or Thursday. I just really watch this if it does break, though. I mean, just because you need this to prove, I just wouldn't buy here. I need to get above, it's actually a signal if you get above Friday's high. If you break down from here, though, your targets are 182.47 and 176.75. Chris, what do you think about the double bottom on ZT chart? Let's see. We'll get it. I'll take a look at that. Bullish or bearish on Boeing. Boeing now I'm neutral on Boeing. There's a bullish signal if it gets a close tomorrow above Thursday's high, and then it gets into more bullish mode on a close above 212.68. That would then, I'd be watching up around these highs from the 15th of November. Until there, it's neutral to slightly bearish. It's against the rotation zone on the daily and the weekly. So you're in bearish modes on there. It's putting in a potential bottoming pattern. It did make a lower low, higher low RSI. That's why it's bearish, but shifting slightly towards neutral. But until I get a signal, wouldn't front run that at all. What else do we have? ZT. The 2-year notes. Let me get it on here. It should be. That's a pretty sloppy double. Just with this rotate, it's almost a triple, but you can still trade it as a double. Your first target is against the rotation zone. Your first target is essentially the rotation zone. It's lower probability. The only thing I do like is if it can get above this first target, 109.09. You then the second and third are into this gap, and it comes in before this this little support base before your big gap down. You're also, the only nice thing about this also is you can complete it before it hits the weekly rotation zone. So keep an eye on that one too. Thanks for bringing that up, Christoph. You find a lot of. I didn't even look at the two. I haven't even finished my review for the for bonds and notes and 10 years and everything yet. So thanks for bringing that one up. What else do we have? Thank you, Kalani, for the super chat. Let's see. I'll get by. We'll get to your request in 1 second. mRNA. Oh. Yeah. I just cannot stand this chart. I'd actually watch it for you start getting a close back above 300. Do you have some potential runs up towards this 327 area? I definitely needed to get above this little 300, 301 would be a safe area to watch for a close. Then I could watch for a run up about 327, 350 area, and then the 376 area to the upside. What you don't want to see is a close back below about this 263, and I'd really pay attention to the lows on Friday because that's the 200. You get back below there, then forget it. Would not touch it from the bullish side. Rivian. Rivian. So you have your first closing low below the IPO. First closing low below the IPO. Rivian has to now prove itself because, again, fundamentally, this is incredibly overvalued. On a right, you have the gap. So at any upside, it would be playing this gap fill. Any upside would be playing the gap fill. Keep an eye on that 4-hour rotation zone, but then your full gap fill would be to this close on Thursday, 108.87. That's the only upside thing. Now, if you get a close above Friday's high, it is a very aggressive short-term trigger, and all I do is watch for the gap fill. In order for Rivian to be attractive at all from a bullish perspective at this point, I'd have to get a move back above this 122 area. Else I wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't touch it until that happened. To the downside, if this continues to roll over, where we had 92.62, 90.07, so essentially 90, and then your next major harmonic is 80.13. And let's do the minor harmonics in here too. See where that would put us there. I'm just taking a look at a couple things here. And look at that. That was your minor harmonic from before, and it hit that low from Friday. This is why I wanted to check that. So yeah, you can watch about 88. I'd be focusing on the major ones, but you can watch 88.35 to 90.07, 84.09, then 80.13. Those would be your downside. You're looking for a short on Rivian. Well, if it runs and closes above the high, I'd watch for a return to the daily. That's where if you want to play this from the short side, which is definitely the play until it gets above that area I talked about before. Your thing is, if it triggered somewhat of a bullish pattern, I'd be watching for that run up, to the gap fill, the daily rotation zone, and especially into this 4-hour rotation zone, and then look to put on a potential short there. Again, keep invites. This is just educational purposes only. I can't give exact trading advice, because that goes and violates a bunch of stuff. So take it for educational purposes only. Let's see. What Williams Tesla bullish or bearish? I mean Tesla. We covered this on Friday. We triggered this massive weekly double top. So longer term, I'm still in bearish mode. Now you can easily, Tesla being Tesla, could run up, always hit the rotation zone. Now also we just have the BBB, Biden's BBB plan was essentially shot down by Mnuchin today. I mean, whatever it is, I can't even think. Sorry guys, I'm just so tired. He said he's not backing it. So that's off the table with the vehicle credits and everything else until we'll have to see if they revisit that in the coming months after the new year. So that's off. So there could be some continued bearish pressure, and we have on the rallies that sell the rallies in Tesla. Coin, no double bottom there. At least on the day there, no. I don't believe, maybe that 4 hour, we can take a look here. Let's see where. That's held there. Yeah. Oh, that's just so gosh darn sloppy. No. It, you can watch for it. Here are your targets, and I'd use these ones right here. But that's getting on the side of really sloppy with Coinbase. Coinbase, I'm also, that's a 4 hour. There's your daily. It's against the daily rotation zone. Don't like it with this little bit over here. And I'm in pretty bearish mode on Coinbase. So you can use those targets 281.26, 287.76, 294.26 if you get a close above 226, 268.26, but I would take that lightly. It's in that price action is not looking good on Coinbase, so it definitely have to prove itself. Bullish or bearish? I'm bearish on the Nas. I went through that already. If you joined late, just rewatch the first part of this. To sum that up, Nasdaq's still in bearish mode unless it gets above 16,015, and then we could make a run higher. And I forgot my key level on S&P off the top of my head. S&P has got to get above this 46.64. S&P is still in neutral mode. So S&P is neutral, Nasdaq's in bearish mode. Dow triggered a double top. President Mnuchin just start the hand grenade. Yeah, it should. We'll see. It's just the thin. That's what. Yeah, President Manchin. See, I call him. It's Manchin. Yeah, I'm just blanking out on names today. Happens. Any other stocks? So yeah, that's what I was in Tesla. So you have that's bearish fundamental news from an EV credit point of view, and then you have these still. And I know Motor Trade, you're still targeting that 850 area we talked about in the Friday broadcast. Thank you for being here. Anything else, anyone? I don't think there's anything else I wanted to look at right now. So when's the Santa rally? Well, who knows? Not yet. Not yet. It's got to prove itself. It's got to prove itself. I was just wanting to check in. Yeah, Nike's earnings are tomorrow. Nike's are tomorrow. Nike. I haven't looked at Nike in a while. But that's interesting. Lower price since it did trigger this double top. Hit essentially the first target there, 158.29, 155.51 to the downside. Keep an eye on those targets, and below that I'd watch the 200, but I am not bullish on Nike at all. Micron. Microns, yep, tomorrow. Oh, that's an interesting. That is interesting. There's your line in the sand right there. By the way, Micron would trigger a buy pattern on a close above Thursday's high for me. Close above Thursday's high tomorrow with earnings would trigger a buy pattern. It's just shifted. It's actually still in bullish mode. But your break below this 81.62 on a closing basis would not be good. Then I'd be targeting the 200. Then I'd be targeting this gap fill. But the bullish little thing, it's this bullish day, this bearish day, close above that high would be a nice little buy pattern for a run up. Let's do our harmonics on there. So above there, you have some overhead resistance. $86.55, but you get above there. So if you want a conservative, I'd actually need to reverse this whole move and get above 86.55 too. But 89.05, 91.97, 94, and that 94.90 is right. I would not ignore that harmonic. Buy your highs from last April. See, been a funky Fed supporter, yeah. From your experience, when does year-end tax loss selling typically end in December, given the recent crash in Momo stocks this week? A lot of tax loss selling will happen after Christmas. So between Christmas and New Year's. So that's where you'll get additional potential downside pressure. But this market's just been nuts recently with the volatility and reversing direction constantly. So that's again why I'm careful. In lower liquidity, you get amplified moves. And you get end of year window dressing and everything else done. You get people shifting around positions, and when you have thinner markets, things can really take massive moves. So keep that in mind with stops and targets. But that's when most of the tax loss selling will happen. Not this week; it's the following week. From my perspective. All right. Let's see, we have one more comment from Motor Trade. The indices have a history of topping in January. The window dressing is complete. The bonuses have been paid. Yeah. Typically stops near their 52-week highs continue to run for the rest of the year. Any favorite plays, suggestions? Any favorite plays, suggestions? I'll have to think about that. It's just what I have signals in. So I know Apple's not on my list. It's on the naughty list right now. I'm still watching some. See, things we were interested in. We're still technically in this. I was pretty bullish on Microsoft going into year end, but unless this can get some steam on there, by the way, you get an aggressive buy on a Monday close above Friday's high. But Microsoft has disappointed with this little pullback. I was actually more bullish on Microsoft than on Apple with this pullback in the rotation zone, but it's looking like unless it can hold this key level, watching for a potential bigger pullback in here, there's not a lot of stuff that's looking good. I'm interested in that Zoom play tomorrow. Just for a little quick play, that T-Doc now is interesting if that does trigger. But everything is short term for me now. Everything is going to be managed really closely with this back and forth volatility because we don't have a clear trend right now. So I am in overall very cautious mode, and anything I do play, it's going to be managing stops really close. We should have lower volume this week, especially towards the end of the week. Now tomorrow we might see again some volatility. with the BBB thing being killed, with the spread of the new variant. But towards the end of the week, yes, volume starts to dry up more and more, but you can still get amplified moves even on lower volume. Have you experienced a lot of COVID news roundup? It, yeah, a lot of people I've talked to are in super cautious mode, even though the symptoms don't appear as bad. It seems to have a higher R value. I was seeing some stuff out of England. R value possibly, it's still limited data, but they were talking about with 3 and 5, but then the symptoms aren't as bad. But we could go into more and more holiday lockdowns, and who knows what's going to happen. So, and a lot of people around me are being very, very cautious right now, because even if they're vaxxed or anything else, they don't want to even have mild symptoms around the holidays. And then if they get it, you can't do anything. So that's the feedback I've been getting. Christoph says he's in Europe and Netherlands and just announced a lockdown, which means all non-essential things have to close until January 14th. We'll get similar moves in all other countries for sure. All right, there's some stuff here, so we may get similar things. Who knows? Could be again a volatile week, a volatile couple weeks. And if you just go back, I mean, let's just take a look. Let's not get lost. We had a double top trigger in the Dow. Nasdaq's in bearish mode, and it's got some work to really reprove itself. It can hold here, but if it starts breaking down, we start getting below 15,538. Then I really get into some bearish for the end of the year. And S&P this Friday's price action was horrible, although it was quad witching. You had a lot of things, so it's going to be interesting. I think I'll leave it at that for today. It's going to be interesting. Get my camera back. Do I play weekly options or just day trade stocks? I will do options. I'll do stocks, and I don't just day trade stocks. I mean, things can be from long-term investments to short-term trades. It just depends. It all just depends. One of the reasons I like to focus on stuff for these shorter moves, especially for this kind of channel, and why I do that with Tesla also, is because people can learn more when you point things out on shorter term charts, because they get to see more of the plays unfold rather than, oh look, we had a massive double bottom on a monthly basis. Let's check on that in 6 months from now. That doesn't help a lot of people. So, all right. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. Hope everyone has a fantastic trading week. I will be doing videos through Thursday, and I'll probably just do one on Thursday afternoon, being Tesla, and then I'll probably wait and do the market overview on next Sunday. So you can tune in next Sunday on the 26th, day after Christmas, and we'll prepare for the trading week between Christmas and New Year's, and then we'll do Tesla up through Thursday afternoon. And if something weird happens, like I always monitor stuff, especially cryptos. So if something does break, if in the cryptoverse or something else, I will still put out a really quick video. You're welcome, Lions. Williams, by the way, here's his projection, going to 220 this week. All right, you can remind me of that, William S. Thank you, Motor Trade. Thank you for being here. Thank you, John, for super sticker. Shiba Dog moves his arm saying goodbye. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Bye for now.